Jimmy Page, born on January 9, 1944, in Heston, West London, emerged from a modest background to become one of the most influential and revolutionary guitarists in rock music history. Raised by a father who was a personnel manager at a plastics factory and a mother who worked as an Irish doctor's secretary, Page's early interest in music was sparked when his family moved to Surrey at the age of 8. There, he discovered an old Spanish guitar at home, an instrument whose origins were mysterious but which became the foundation of his lifelong passion. By the age of 12, Page was already learning to play guitar, initially taught by a friend at school, but soon practicing relentlessly by playing along with records, especially inspired by the rock and roll sounds of Elvis Presley, Scotty Moore, and James Burton. His determination was such that he sometimes brought his guitar into school, enduring the confiscation of it by teachers during classes. By 13, after saving money from delivering milk, Page bought a Hofner President acoustic guitar with a pickup to be amplified, followed shortly by his first electric guitar, a second-hand Futurama Grazioso, which he soon replaced with a Fender Telecaster similar to the one played by Buddy Holly. Engaging with a variety of musical genres in his teenage years, Page played skiffle, folk, and blues, covering artists like Elmore James, B.B. King, and Buddy Guy, and even appeared on the BBC's All Your Own TV talent show with a skiffle band by 1957. Though he once joked about aspirations toward cancer research, music inevitably took precedence, and by 14, he was performing locally in bands such as Malcolm Austin and the Whirlwinds and the Paramounts, gaining experience playing Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis covers for growing audiences. His early career advanced when singer Neil Christian discovered him, inviting Page to join his group, the Crusaders. Over 2 years of touring and releasing singles, his health suffered from repeated glandular fever, leading him to retire from touring briefly and attend art college, though music continued to exert a strong pull. By the early 1960s, Page made a name for himself as one of London's busiest session guitarists, earning the nickname Little Jim P. to differentiate him from fellow guitarist Big Jim Sullivan. His session work included playing for major acts like The Who, The Kinks, The Rolling Stones, Petula Clark, Marianne Faithfull, and contributing the theme for Shirley Bassey's Goldfinger. During his prolific period as a session musician, Page worked up to 3 sessions a day, 6 days a week, which, while demanding, provided invaluable experience and helped hone the technical mastery he would later become famous for. As he grew weary of the exhausting grind, fortune favored him when he was invited to join the Yardbirds in 1966, replacing their departing guitarist. His time in the Yardbirds was pivotal. Initially joining as bassist before moving to guitar, he played alongside Jeff Beck, pushing the boundaries of guitar playing with experimental sounds and showmanship. This partnership, while creatively dynamic, was often volatile due to the contrasting styles between Beck's instinctual playing and Page's disciplined approach. Following the dissolution of the Yardbirds, Page formed Led Zeppelin, recruiting Robert Plant, John Bonham, and John Paul Jones. This new band revolutionized rock music with their fusion of blues, folk, hard rock, and psychedelic experimentation. Their 1969 debut album was recorded in just 9 days and exhibited Page's innovative guitar riffs and production techniques, setting a new standard in rock that cemented the band's monumental legacy. Outside of music, Page's personal life garnered considerable attention, marked by high-profile relationships and complex dynamics. In the 1960s, American singer-songwriter Jackie DeShannon was a significant influence and muse, inspiring one of his most memorable songs, Tangerine. His long-term relationship with French model Charlotte Martin during the 1970s resulted in the birth of their daughter, Scarlett Page, who would grow up to be a successful photographer. However, not all of Page's relationships were without controversy. His lifestyle during Led Zeppelin's intense touring periods included associations with very young groupies, notably a widely criticized relationship with Laurie Maddox, who was reportedly between the ages of 14 and 15 during their affair. This aspect of his personal life has remained a focal point of criticism and discussion. In his later years, Page sought a more conventional life, marrying Patricia Ecker in 1986 and having a son, James Patrick Page, though the marriage eventually ended in divorce. He remarried Gemma Gomez Paracha in 1995, adopting her daughter and having 2 more children together, though this marriage also concluded in separation. In 2014, Page made headlines with his relationship with actress and poet Scarlett Sabat, who is 45 years his junior, exemplifying the continued public fascination with his personal life. Beyond relationships, Page's passion extended to architecture and history, owning and restoring several remarkable properties tied closely to his and Led Zeppelin's history. Among these was the Pangbourne Boathouse in Berkshire, the legendary birthplace of Led Zeppelin, where Page and Plant first officially met. He also acquired London's Tower House, built by 19th-century Gothic revivalist William Burgess, reflecting his fascination with pre-Raphaelite art and architecture. Boleskine House in Scotland, once owned by occultist Aleister Crowley, added an element of mystique to his legacy, as portions of Led Zeppelin's film The Song Remains the Same were shot nearby. Other residences, such as Plumpton Place in Sussex and Denery Gardens in Berkshire, further underscored his architectural tastes and artistic sensibilities, embedding him within a tradition of cultural and historical reverence beyond his musical mind. However, amidst this multifaceted life, Page openly acknowledged that drugs played a significant role in his creative and personal journey, especially throughout the 1970s during the zenith of Led Zeppelin's fame. In interviews, he confessed that hard drug use was an integral part of his experience, with heroin addiction beginning during the recording of their album, Presence, and escalating over subsequent years. His deteriorating health and guitar performances on the 1977 North American tour reflected the impact of his excesses. The addiction also strained relationships within the band, particularly creating distance between Page and Plant, and led to a diminished role in studio sessions during the recording of In Through the Outdoor. Despite being arrested twice for cocaine possession in the early 1980s, Page eventually overcame his worst addictions. He has steadfastly defended his period of drug use, insisting that when necessary he was capable of extraordinary focus and creativity, exemplified by the rapid recording schedules of the latter albums. Another compelling dimension of Page's story is his long-standing, complex relationships with fellow guitar legends. His dynamic with Jeff Beck, with whom he played in the Yardbirds, was characterized by mutual respect but also professional tension, as their differing styles, Page's precision and Beck's improvisation, competed for dominance. The two clashed creatively over the credit for seminal recordings like Bolero, and though acknowledging each other's genius, their rivalry inflamed decades of debate. Similarly, Page's relationship with Eric Clapton soured over disputes related to informal jam recordings released commercially without mutual consent, damaging a friendship founded in blues tradition. Yet, the fire of competition extended further to Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath, with whom Page shared a friendly rivalry that helped define the sound of heavy rock, and to Ritchie Blackmore of Deep Purple, who voiced both critical and admiring sentiments about Page's musicianship. Pete Townsend of The Who expressed frustration at Led Zeppelin's ascendance, accusing them of borrowing elements of The Who's sound, which underscored the competitive atmosphere among the British rock elite. Page also openly expressed deep admiration and regret regarding Jimi Hendrix, lamenting missed opportunities to witness his live genius and acknowledging Hendrix as perhaps the greatest guitarist of their era. These tensions, rivalries, and mutual influences defined a golden age of rock guitar and contributed significantly to its development. Throughout his career, Page remained a relentless innovator, employing unusual tunings, studio effects, and multi-layered guitar tracks that elevated Led Zeppelin's sound to mythic heights. His legendary riffs and solos, immortalized in songs like Stairway to Heaven, Whole Lotta Love, and Kashmir, continue to influence countless musicians and captivate fans worldwide. Despite personal setbacks and the eventual dissolution of Led Zeppelin following John Bonham's death in 1980, Page's dedication to music persisted through collaborations, solo projects, and efforts to steward Led Zeppelin's vast catalog for posterity. Knighted for his contributions to music and culture, Jimmy Page stands as an enduring emblem of rock's transformative power, his life and work an extraordinary blend of artistic genius, personal complexity, and cultural myth that cements his place among the most legendary figures in the history of modern music.